Now on GMU at 5, standing together in solidarity. See how people in Salt Lake City reacted to the guilty verdict in the trial of former police officer Derek Chauvin.
And a fiery head-on collision in Kane County sent 6 people to the hospital in serious condition. What we're learning about what led up to the crash.
And then vaccinations on the rise. Hear how soon Utah health officials believe we could reach herd immunity.
Plus, we're starting to see a little bit of cloud cover throughout the Great Basin. What does that exactly mean for us? I'll have more on Good Morning Utah.
Live from Utah's first TV station, Good Morning Utah at 5 starts now.
Good morning to you. I'm Jared Jotnini in for Sarah Martin.
And I'm Brian Carlson. The time is 5 o'clock on this Wednesday.
After 10.5 hours of deliberation, a Minnesota jury finds former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin guilty on all 3 charges.
Yeah, the verdict reverberated around the world. Here in Utah, police prepare for political unrest. Rallies here in Salt Lake City remain peaceful. Hundreds of people marched through downtown Salt Lake to the local mural of George Floyd. Here's a live look at that memorial this morning. People came there to pay their respects to Floyd and show their support. ABC4's Jordan Burroughs was there for the demonstrations and shows us how Utahns reacted to that verdict.
The passion. The purpose.
Black Lives Matter!
The persistence.
We are celebrating George Floyd's life today, and we are celebrating the verdict.
The message is moving.
Our streets! Our streets!
Even after Derek Chauvin was found guilty on all 3 counts.
All the races and different colors coming out to unite as one. No drama, no fight, and just be able to feel love again.
To be heard again, not good enough for Lex Scott, founder of Utah Black Lives Matter.
I don't think George Floyd would have received justice if this happened in Salt Lake City.
In Salt Lake City, murals of people who died at the hands of police inspire the demonstrators to push for change.
It is a display of solidarity.
I know everybody say that Black Lives Matter, but I think all lives matter.
Community members marched from the Salt Lake Police Department to the mural of George Floyd, stopping once they got there to share a moment that looked like this. Sounded like this, and to be remembered like this. Lex Scott, the founder of the Utah Black Lives Matter movement, says she hopes Salt Lake City leaders heard her voice along with countless others. Reporting in downtown Salt Lake City, Jordan Burroughs, ABC4 News.
All right, thank you, Jordan. Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson responded to the verdict saying, quote, "My thoughts are with the friends and family of George Floyd and the nation as a whole. After having the opportunity to observe much of the Derek Chauvin trial, I am pleased with the results of the jury. It's clear that George Floyd was murdered without remorse. Our nation has skilled and committed police officers, but also those that operate in their roles with bias and without regard for human life and liberty. There needs to be accountability."
And jurors had a daunting task deciding whether to convict Chauvin of murder. Before reaching a verdict, Hennepin County Judge Peter Cahill gave jurors a lengthy instruction. We talked to a former defense attorney here in Utah who says telling jurors to limit what they consider for the verdict is common in such a high-profile murder trial like this.
You can't think about the fallout consequences of your verdict one way or the other. You have to decide the case based on the evidence that you heard and decide the facts of the case based on the evidence you heard, not what's been in the media, not what might happen outside riots.
Now, there are hope for many that this guilty verdict is a changing point for the state and country. For some Utahns, Derek Chauvin's fate was a victory, saying this is a great first step, but more must be done to end police brutality. This trial is opening up a conversation on what's next.
Because George Floyd, at the end of the day, everybody says, oh, a black man lost his life. At the end of the day, an American lost his life. And that should be a discussion that we as people, as fellow Americans, should be able to have.
Now, some cities following suit. Salt Lake Mayor Mendenhall says the city will continue to take steps to become a more equitable city for all residents.
The time now for your weather on the 4s here. Meteorologist Cesar Cornejo in for Adam Carroll today here. So, Cesar, how are we looking so far this morning?
Well, Brian, so far right now, we're looking a little bit on the cloudy side. Right now, satellite and radar showing that we have cloud cover throughout most of the Great Basin and actually some higher elevation rain showers and snow. Of course, we're still very dry, so not all of that might be reaching the ground. We can actually see that parts of the Wasatch Front, it looks like we have cloud cover also. I'm expecting to see probably some mountain snow, so I would not be surprised for very high elevation areas to have some snowflakes falling through the ground. Right now, looking at temperatures, we're expecting to see that we're around a mild start so far. A lot warmer than what we were starting off the day yesterday. We're seeing 35 in Logan, 49 in Salt Lake City, and even 64 in St. George, 42 in Cedar City. So it's quite a nice day, but we expect to see that cloud cover will be the main thing for us this morning. Temperatures will remain around the 40s as we start to cool down, as we really start our day for us. And taking a look at traffic so far right now, not really seeing much on the map for areas concerning around the Wasatch Front. Everything looks great so far, and between Ogden and Salt Lake City, 30 minutes in both directions, looking clear and great so far right now. Provo to Salt Lake City, we are seeing northbound 36 minutes, a little bit slower, but not by much, only a minute extra than our normal drive times between Salt Lake City and Provo southbound. And looking at the drive time between Park City and Salt Lake City, no real delays there. It's a pretty great morning commute. Over to the desk.
Sounds good. Thank you, Caesar. New this morning, 2 cars caught fire in a head-on crash in southern Utah that sent 6 people to the hospital. The crash happened yesterday on Highway 89 there in Kane County. Troopers say a Lexus crossed over the center line right in the path of a Toyota Highlander. To avoid that crash, that driver went in the opposite lanes of traffic, but the Lexus corrected back, and then both cars crashed head-on and caught fire. Everyone got out safely, but they were taken to the hospital in serious condition.
Happening today, the Utah Department of Transportation looking to reduce the soaring number of motorcycle crashes on Utah roadways. New data shows statewide motorcycle crashes are 11 times more deadly than automobile crashes. The Department of Public Safety and UDOT are launching a motorcycle safety campaign called Ride to Live. This campaign is to educate drivers and motorcyclists and to help them be more alert and safe while sharing the road. The campaign starts at 9:30.
And in new developments, Utah's state epidemiologist, Dr. Angela Dunn, is taking on a new role. She's been appointed as the new executive director for the Salt Lake County Health Department. Dunn will replace outgoing director Gary Edwards, who's retiring in July. She'll start working with Edwards in June to make a smooth transition. Now, the Utah Department of Health is thanking Dunn for her work. In a statement, they say in part, quote, "It's hard to overstate the true life-saving contributions Dr. Dunn has made to Utah's COVID-19 response. Whether it was her steady voice at the press briefing podium or her capable leadership at the table where decisions are made, Dr. Dunn was always a champion for the health and well-being of Utah residents."
Happening today, Salt Lake County is remembering thousands of children who died as a result of child abuse. Officials say 3,616 blue pinwheels will be planted to remember the lives of children who died as a result of child abuse in 2020. Blue pinwheels, a symbol for prevention. The ceremony starts at 9 a.m. on the west lawn of Salt Lake County Government Center.
Time now 5:08. Coming up on GMU, local COVID-19 vaccinations on the rise. Hear why Utah health experts say it's important we keep up the pace. Plus, colleges preparing to a complete return to normal. Learn why Weber State University is optimistic they can return to in-person classes this fall.
Jazz players react to the verdict in the George Floyd murder trial. That's coming up in your morning sports report.